Have you ever just sat back and wondered how the internet got so fast? It's not magic, even though it feels like it. There's this incredibly clever system working behind the scenes, and today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that secret. We're talking about web caching. I mean, think about it for a second. You go to your favorite website. The logo? It's the same one you saw yesterday. The basic layout, the fonts, they haven't changed. So why on earth would your browser make that long trip across the internet to download the exact same files over and over and over again? It sounds kind of dumb, right? Super inefficient. Well, here's the good news. It doesn't. And that's because your web browser is way smarter than that. The best way to think about it is to imagine your browser is a master builder. And if there's one thing a smart builder hates, it's wasting time and doing unnecessary work. So how does our smart builder avoid all those pointless trips back and forth? Simple. It keeps all the most common tools and materials right there beside it, in a personal, local toolbox. In the tech world, we just call this the browser cache. Here's how it works. The very first time you visit a site, our builder, your browser, has to make that one long trip to the main store, which is the web server, to get everything. That's always the slowest part. But while it's there, it gets clever. It grabs all the standard, reusable stuff, the logos, the style files, the fonts, and it stocks its local toolbox. So the next time you visit, forget the long trip. It just pulls everything from the toolbox and bam, the site loads at light speed. So to put it officially, the browser cache is just a little bit of space on your own computer's hard drive. Its one and only job is to save copies of website files to make your next visit and the one after that way, way faster. It's all about speeding up those repeat visits. And what exactly is our builder hoarding in this toolbox? Well, it's the stuff that doesn't change much, what we call static assets. We're talking about images and logos for sure, also CSS style files. Those are the files that dictate a site's colors and layout. And then you've got common JavaScript libraries and any special fonts the site uses. All the perfect, reusable building blocks. Okay, so this local toolbox idea is awesome for making your repeat visits feel instant. But what about that very first visit? The browser cache doesn't help you there at all. And this is a huge problem, especially if the website's main store is halfway across the planet. Let's get specific. Imagine a website's main server, its big central store, is sitting in Germany. Now, what if you're trying to visit that site for the very first time from, say, Iran? That's a huge distance for your data to travel. Your request has to cross continents. No matter how you slice it, that first visit is going to feel slow. This is where the next genius idea comes in, the CDN, or Content Delivery Network. So if the browser cache is a personal toolbox on your desk, a CDN is like a massive global network of regional warehouses placed strategically all over the world. Its whole purpose is to make that first trip shorter for everyone, everywhere. So with a CDN, copies of the website's materials are already stocked in all these warehouses. Now, when our user in Iran visits for the first time, their builder doesn't get sent all the way to Germany. No way. The CDN automatically points them to the closest warehouse, maybe one in Istanbul. The trip is way shorter, the materials get there faster, and that first impression is suddenly a whole lot quicker. So let's just put it all together. You've got two really smart solutions working in tandem. On one hand, you have the browser cache. That's the local toolbox on your machine, and it's there to solve the problem of slow, repeat visits. On the other hand, you have the CDN cache. That's the global network of warehouses, and it solves the problem of slow, first visits. Together, they make the web feel fast for everybody. Now, this system is brilliant, but it does create a problem I'm sure you've run into. What happens when a website updates its logo, but your browser keeps showing you the old one from its toolbox? You need a way to tell the builder, hey, ignore the old stuff and go get the new stuff. You basically need to give your builder a very firm, very direct command. You need to yell, forget that local toolbox completely. Go and buy all the materials from the central store from scratch. And you have two ways to do this. Hitting F5 for a normal refresh is like a polite little nudge to your builder. It's like saying, hey, pal, could you just, call the main store and see if anything's changed? It's just a quick check. But a hard refresh, that's Control plus F5, is that direct,
forceful command. It's you saying, forget the toolbox, get everything new. This forces a complete re-download of everything, guaranteeing you see the absolute latest version.
And hey, here's a quick pro tip for any web developers out there. When you're coding, you have to see your changes immediately, right? Well, in your browser's developer tools, there's an option to disable cache. Taking that box basically tells your builder to never ever use its local toolbox while that tab is open. You're always getting the fresh stuff right from the server. All right, so we've dug into the how of all this, but let's just zoom out for a second. Why does any of this caching stuff actually matter in the grand scheme of things?
Caching is, and I'm not exaggerating, one of the core pillars of the fast modern internet we use every day. It speeds everything up. The browser cache makes your personal experience better, making repeat visits feel instant. The CDN cache makes that crucial first visit faster for every single person on the planet. And as a bonus, it reduces the stress on a website's main server, which makes the entire internet a smoother, more efficient place for all of us. It's a total win-win-win.
Okay, so our builder's toolbox and all those global warehouses, they're just for public stuff, reusable materials like logos and fonts. But that leaves us with a really interesting question, doesn't it? How does a site remember your personal stuff? How does it know you're logged in? Or remember what's in your shopping cart? Well, that is a totally different kind of memory, and we are going to dive into that in our next explainer.